Oh, yeah, we got a sucker on the hook. He's the mayor of Kansas City. You may have remembered him, Nancy. Quentin Lucas, who, when they caught those three black thugs who had shot up the Super Bowl parade for the Kansas City Chiefs, the governor called them thugs. And the mayor said, you can't call them thugs. That's racist. They're wayward youth. We knew this guy could potentially be the sucker of all suckers. And although it has not been widely carried here in New York City, I think I know why. Because Eric Adams does not want to give up these illegal aliens. There's too much money in these migrant shelter contracts for him and his cronies. I want to introduce you to the story where Quentin Lucas, African-American mayor of Kansas City, Missouri, is welcoming our migrants, our illegal aliens from New York City and from Denver. He wants them to come to Kansas City.
Welcome in Kansas City, and welcome to come here to get a job. We first told you about that message from Mayor Quentin Lucas last night.
On Twitter, he's openly inviting them into the city, citing a Bloomberg report that he wants them to help fill a labor shortage.
Now, you would think that in this next piece of this newscast from Kansas City, where he's actually talked to Eric Adams about this, that Eric Adams would have been dancing the horror in Tarantella and putting our illegals, our migrants on buses and shipping them out to Kansas City, Missouri before he comes to his senses.
That report goes on to say that Mayor Lucas has been talking to mayors in both New York City and Denver, trying to identify migrants who may want to move here to Kansas City. His comments come as business is booming in KC and the surrounding area.
So he's had conversations with Eric Adams. Now,
wait, so he was able to get through a phone call? He didn't have to go on the Google Docs and make an appointment and wait kind of thing?
Could I hear that again? Wrong way, Lou Rufino. The fact that the mayor of Kansas City, who wants our illegal aliens as soon as possible, Quentin Lucas, has had conversations with Eric Adams to bring them from New York City to Kansas City.
That report goes on to say that Mayor Lucas has been talking to mayors in both New York City and Denver, trying to identify migrants who may want to move here to Kansas City. His comments come as business is booming in KC and the surrounding area.
Now, have you heard, you're the one who does the deep dive on everything Eric Adams. Have you heard him made reference to that? Because he says he talks to leaders all over the country who love the job he's doing here.
No, he's radio silence on this one.
Yeah, well, the mayor of Kansas City, Quentin Lucas, has said he wants migrants to come to Kansas City to work now.
We want to welcome you. We want to make sure there's a way you can find work in our community.
Now, here's another guy, one of the big mockers in Kansas City, Ralph Oropeza, who is the business manager, which means he works with all the unions. So you figure the unions might be like, well, no. You bring them. You bring the illegal aliens and the migrants are going to take jobs from union members. No. Ralph wants them to come to Kansas City.
For Ralph Oropesa, the business manager for the Greater Kansas City Building and Construction Trades Council, it's personal.
My parents came here back in 1967. I was born here. They came from Mexico. And so, my father worked as a migrant.
So his father was a migrant. So everything is rolling our way. Now, this is the only problem. In their budget in Kansas City, Missouri, they've only put $1 million aside for migrant workers.
Kansas City's recently passed budget doles out $1 million to create new support services for refugees and immigrants.
So only $1 million. So this is what everybody listening out there has to do. If you're by Floyd Bennett Field, the Brooklyn side, the Rockaway side, get on the phone to the mayor of Kansas City. Said, hey, we got 3,000 illegals here ready. Put them on buses. Bring them out to Kansas City. If you're out near Creedmoor, right near the Nassau County border, call up the mayor's office in Kansas City. Let them know that you have migrants, illegal aliens in the tents there. They just put up more tents for illegal aliens that'll be more than happy to come to Kansas City where they'll be able to work.
Yeah, and I think based on the amount of money he put aside, that would sustain them for about a week. So he might need a plan after that.
Don't tell him.
Okay.
He wants the illegals. Let your people go. But Eric Adams He is resistant because he says whenever he goes to Randall's Island, the tent there, which is the most problematic, the Venezuelan gangs run it there. They've had stabbings, they've attacked cops, they sell contraband, they do whatever they want 24/7, 365. Eric Adams may not want to let them go because he says they love him.
I keep telling folks, you have 3,000 people on Randall's Island that cannot do anything all day. That's just not right. It's just inhumane. And so, if folks would take a trip there, talk to the people like I do, and communicate with them. When I walk inside those hercs, those people give me a standing ovation. And they say, thank you, Mayor.
Of course, because he gives them more than any other city in the nation.
So he is their mayor, apparently.
He is. That's why I say Eric Adams, swagger man with no plan, mayor of the illegal aliens. They love him. Could I hear that again? Because this may be the part that may be difficult for Eric Adams to sort of separate himself from. Because when he goes to normal neighborhood meetings now of American citizens, they boo him, they hoot him, they treat him, he says, not with the kind of respect that is commiserate of what a mayor should get. And he blames that on the fact that he's a black mayor. He's not getting the kind of respect he should. But the fact is the illegals love this guy. Come on, Eric. Take all 3,000 on Randall's Island, ship them to Kansas City. But look, you just got to do it for what's in the best interest of New York City and the illegal aliens, not thinking about a standing ovation you're going to get every time you go into that tent.
I keep telling folks, you have 3,000 people on Randall's Island that cannot do anything all day. That's just not right. It's just inhumane. And so, if folks would take a trip there, talk to the people like I do, and communicate with them. When I walk inside those hercs, those people give me a standing ovation. And they say, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for spending our dollars
So
on them.
now we're not only paying for them, we also have to visit with them and give them a hug?
Yep. Got to hug it. But, Nancy, there's 3,000 just there. So we close Randall's Island.
Yes.
Because that is really an athletic facility, especially with summer. That's where a lot of adults and children go for recreation. 3,000. We could ship 3,000 tonight, and they'll all go there because the mayor, the well-meaning mayor of Kansas City, Quentin Lucas, is ready to take them. 2-day trip on a Greyhound, pound the Greyhound. Give them the food, make sure they have plenty of water, plenty of liquor. Come on.
They're like, where are we going?
That's right. And by the way, there are other places, Eric, you can go and get a standing ovation, according to his delusional theory.
And they have posters of him on their walls, too. So
Exactly. It's like he's the best, not like the rest. You could go to Creedmoor. I'm sure they would give him a standing ovation there. Floyd Bennett Field, they'll give him a standing ovation there. Give him enough places to go. But this is the problem for Eric Adams. The brothers and sisters are turning on him. You don't follow his schedule the way Nancy does, but he's spending an inordinate time in Harlem, USA, which is a slam dunk for him to get elected. I looked, and even though I'm well regarded in Harlem residents, predominantly black, they voted for Eric Adams. So he has had 3 town hall meetings in Central Harlem and the Polo Grounds in the last 2 weeks because black people there are upset at the preferential treatment that Eric Adams is giving to these illegal aliens. And here's just one resident, one black man from Central Harlem who gave him grief, and Eric Adams had to stand there and take it because the rest of the crowd was just as hostile.
We do not want to hear excuses. These asylum seekers, the refugees, and the migrants, they did not vote for you. They did not pay taxes. And yes, majority of them are criminals. And if you saying that you have to deport them, but also at the same time say, well, this is a sanctuary state, this is a sanctuary city, essentially you're telling us you are useless to us. We have on 130th Street, Adam Clayton Powell Jr., who was an American freedman, who advocated for the American freedmen, and you're telling us you can't do anything for Harlem? What does this say? Harlem homes for Harlem residents. Asylum seekers are not Harlem residents. They are not citizens. In the Constitution solely and is primarily for United States citizens, especially the American freedmen citizens. So, when this man said that we're talking about Harlem did not have the asylum-seeking renaissance. It was the Harlem Renaissance that was started with the American freedmen in the city of Harlem. So you must give priority to the American citizens. You must give priority to the American freedmen citizens. And when you stand up here and tell us you can't do anything, guess what? It's election time. Okay. It's election time. So we will let you know you can be removed just like how you got voted in.
Time. Cut him off. Eric Adams was like flustered, flummoxed. He had all of his flunkies surrounding him. And these are hostile black people. In fact...
So you're saying when he walked in there, they weren't applauding him? Standing ovation? No, not that.
No, they're hostile. Yeah, gotcha. By the way, Justin Ellick, how come this cut has not made it to any of the shows here on WABC? Thank you, Nancy, for doing the deep dive. In fact, it was such a good statement by this righteous black man in Harlem. We're going to play it one more time because Eric Adams standing there was left speechless.
We do not want to hear excuses. These asylum seekers, the refugees, and the migrants, they did not vote for you. They did not pay taxes. And yes, majority of them are criminals. And if you're saying that you have to deport them, but also at the same time say, well, this is a sanctuary state, this is a sanctuary city, essentially you're telling us you are useless to us. We have on 130th Street, Adam Clayton Powell Jr., who was an American freedman, who advocated for the American freedmen, and you're telling us you can't do anything for Harlem? What does this say? Harlem homes for Harlem residents. Asylum seekers are not Harlem residents. They are not citizens. In the Constitution solely and is primarily for United States citizens, especially the American freedmen citizens. So, when this man said that we're talking about Harlem did not have the asylum-seeking renaissance. It was the Harlem Renaissance that was started with the American freedmen in the city of Harlem. So you must give priority to the American citizens. You must give priority to the American freedmen citizens. And when you stand up here and tell us you can't do anything, guess what? It's election time. Okay. It's election time. So we will let you know you can be removed just like how you got voted in.
Time, get him out of here. I got to hear that last part one more time because that's what frightens any politician. When you threaten not to reelect them. These are all black people. I could walk into that crowd. I'll get respect. But I did not get their votes against Eric Adams. I did not. And they would tell me, yo, Curtis, no disrespect, but, Eric's a brother. Every group, they take care of their own first. Look, I mean, all kinds of white people have been mayors. This would be our only second black mayor. No disrespect, Curtis, but we're voting for Eric. Listen to this black man threaten Eric Adams, and he was stymied. He couldn't say jack diddly squat.
When you stand up here and tell us you can't do anything, guess what? It's election time. Okay. It's election time. So we will let you know you can be removed just like how you got voted in. Time.
Get him out of there. And the rest of the meeting was the same. Thank you, Nancy, for finding that cut, doing the deep dive, because that says it all. From the streets, I'm out there in neighborhoods where the only Republican they've ever seen in the city is Abraham Lincoln on a $5 bill. There are two groups who are apoplectic, so angry at Eric Adams by bringing in these illegals, these migrants. African Americans, because to the victor go the spoils. It's always been the way it is in politics. We help you get elected, you take care of us. And Eric Adams basically said a few months into his mayoralty, black people, you elected me, we get to the back of the bus. Secondly, first generation immigrants who had to come in the hard way. These are all the people of color we're talking about who are pissed Some of them have had to wait 4 or 5 years. They have to take a citizenship test to become a citizen, that my 3 sons could not pass, and most of your children and grandchildren could not pass because they don't teach them history any longer. And they have relatives and loved ones waiting to get in who are waiting online, coming in the legal way.
So these are people really waiting on the crumbs.
Exactly.
There you go.
So, Timothy Pearson, you may just be getting crumbs. But at the rate that your boss, your friend Eric Adams, swagger man with no plan, mayor of the illegal aliens, is going, you may be attached to him in chains and shackles and going up to Camp Fed, Otisville, for crimes committed as you got wine, dined, and pocket-lined at taxpayers' expense.